a lot of that tonight. So I'm excited to talk with you guys. How are you all doing?
Good.
Awesome.
Is it getting cold?
You know what? Normally this time of year, actually, well, I'm always cold, so I have been wearing my winter coat. But normally this time of year, it is really cold, like scrape off your windshield in the morning cold here. And we've been enjoying double-digit weather. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Double-digit weather. What do you mean? Do you mean like it's 11 degrees?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still cold.
No.
Not to us, though.
Oh my gosh.
That's Tim Thomas. Him and Michelle, they're husband and wife duo.
Yes, we are. Hi.
Sorry.
That's funny.
We've got a great
It's great to see you all.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Isn't Zoom amazing? I just think it's so awesome that we have this great technology that we can use to build our businesses. And, you know, we're 1,000 miles away from each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm excited to get started. Whenever you want me to, I'll let you start. I do have two questions.
Yeah.
There's something I want to share my screen on. So will you? I don't need to do it yet, but at some point, would you allow me to do that?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. And then the other thing was, are you recording this?
Yes. Is that okay?
Yes. Yeah, I was going to ask you if you could send it to me afterwards.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Right on. So just so we don't stall things up, I've done this once before where I've shared with a guest to turn over the host to them. That's what I do, right?
I have a button. If I click share screen, I think it will say, it will send you a message.
Okay.
And then if you allow that, then I can do it. And then I can give it back to you.
Okay.
Everybody needs to mute themselves.
Yeah, if you guys could do that, that would be awesome. Thank you. So thanks everybody for jumping on tonight. I'm sure we'll have people jumping on as we continue on here. And I'd like to welcome Tim. Thank you so much for agreeing to meet with us. It was great to meet you at Leaders Retreat and to kind of, meet people in real life instead of just online all the time. So that was really great. And tonight, Tim is going to share with us some tips on prospecting and reaching out and growing your network and growing your business.
Well, thank you so much, Tanya. I appreciate it. And yeah, it is awesome getting to meet people in real life. Like you see them on Facebook and sometimes you see this tiny little picture and you're like, okay, what's your face on Facebook? But it's cool because, we realize that we're just like a big family and we're all just like having some fun together and you just feel so much camaraderie. So I do love that about the events and things. So, and I appreciate you asking me to be a part of this. And I'm going to just talk to you guys about some things that are real to me and have become just a huge part of my life in Plexus. I'm going to talk about prospecting, but in all of that, but I want to really kind of hit really nitty-gritty things too, because I feel like you need both in order to be successful, really truly successful in your business. I don't think this business is hard. As far as what we have to do is not complicated. Anybody can do what we have to do. That's what's so beautiful about it. But we have to do it and do it on a normal basis. You can't do it once or twice or 3 times or even for a month and expect to be able to get the kind of results where, everybody wants to be an emerald, sapphire, diamond. So, my wife and I, we want to be a double diamond household. So in order to make that happen, you gotta do this stuff every day. So just going to give you a little bit about who I am. First of all, I'm blessed beyond measure. I have I'm just so grateful to God for Plexus opportunity. If it was not for that, I really don't know what I'd be doing right now. I don't know where my health would be, that's for sure. Probably in a very, very bad place. I would probably, instead of going this way, I'd be going this way. And that's kind of scary. You know, so I told my wife a month ago that sometimes I have to remind myself I'm getting older because I feel like I'm getting younger. That's Plexus to me. It changes you and you feel amazing. And so it has for me 100%. And so that's one huge thing. I'm blessed beyond measure in my health. My business has changed my life. We were just scraping by. And I know that there's a lot of people who are in that boat. I can so totally relate. I am a normal guy. I will come right out and tell you that I was working 2 jobs when I lived in Nashville, Tennessee. The first job during the day, I was working in sales, and it was grinded out. It was boring. It was hard. And I was driving through a lot of traffic, and I didn't get to see my whole my family very much. And then I would go to my second job, which I'm still, you know, I feel like it's good for me to say I was delivering pizzas for a second job just to be able to take care of my family. It's good for me to say that because I'm real. I'm just a normal, average, everyday guy that took advantage of the great opportunity, the best opportunity that there is. Seriously, the best one there is. You want to go out, I'm comparing it to anything else you could do. I mean, you want to go out and start your own company, you're going to invest $50, $100, $150, $200,000 just to get it off the ground and hopefully make it back within 3 years if you don't go under. That's what you're up against. Or how about starting with another network marketing company? The cool thing is, like, we talk to people all the time in other network marketing companies, and I have yet to see anybody give me products that are better on any level or a compensation plan that's better. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, I have people come and say that join Plexus because they see that. And they go from the company they were in and they start with Plexus. We just had somebody on our team recruit someone who was recruiting her, but she ended up recruiting her back instead. And they joined her team because it was so much better. They saw the beauty of Plexus. So I'm blessed beyond measure. I love my family. I love my wife. I love my Plexus team, and I truly mean that. I do love my Plexus team. It's not just a sentiment either. I mean, I actively care for my Plexus team, and that's one big thing that I think that we have to see, we have to understand. Like, love is not just an emotion. Love is something you do. So we're actually going to talk about that too tonight. And I love Plexus, and I give a lot of credit in my life for a lot of the good stuff to Plexus. And I treat Plexus like I love it, and that's why I talk about it the way I do, because I care about Plexus. So that's a little bit about me. We've told our story a million times in other places, and I don't want to keep on hitting on that. I wanted to give you guys a little bit different side of things for me, but you know, we ranked up through Plexus in about a year, just sharing and talking about the products and loving on people with them and not giving up, having people hate on us and not caring and just keep on going. And that happens to everybody. And it still happens to this day. And it's okay. It's okay. We've had it since the beginning, and we continue to have it. That's just normal, because anytime you're going to do anything that is big and that requires you to kind of get out there and make it happen, you're going to have haters. That just happens. So it's okay. We're all right with that. A lot of those people join us after a little while. We're still working on one that hated on us almost 4 years ago. He wouldn't even hardly talk about it. And now he's finally coming around, and it's amazing. So anyway, that's a little bit about me and my family, about us. So what I want to talk to you tonight about is, you've probably heard the saying, give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. If you teach a man to fish, he'll never go hungry. I want to add to that another level. teach a man to be captain of a fishing boat, and he'll have so much he won't even need it. He'll be able to sell it or give it away or whatever else he wants to do, okay? We want to go to that next level, all right? But we're all at different levels when we come into this. Well, we all have to start off at the first level, which is you got to learn how to fish first. So we're going to go through those different levels, and we're going to talk about what it means to grow your business and what it means to become captain of your own ship and teaching others to do the same thing, okay? So the 3 main levels of your business. You learn how to fish. That's number 1, okay? We're going to get into that's where tonight we're going to get into the dirt, the nitty gritty stuff, okay? Number 2, you learn how to love. You teach others to fish, okay? That's the second level of your business. And number 3 is you learn how to lead with love. And that's where you teach others to become captains of their own ships, okay? And you become a captain of your own. All right, so first thing is you cannot grow a Plexus business unless you're willing to lead with love. And I'm really not trying to be altruistic. I really mean that. You have to be able to love something other than just yourself in order to do a Plexus business, because something has got to get you up off the couch and make you do it, okay? So what do I mean by that? You can love your family. You can love your spouse. You can love other people. And you can love accomplishing things, okay? Those are all things outside of just you that can motivate you. Okay, my family motivates me more than anything. I mean, I am motivated for big things, accomplishing big things. But I'm not as motivated for that as I am motivated by, I want to leave a legacy for my family. I want my family to feel that I truly cared and I gave it everything I had. I want my kids to see me working hard so they develop those same principles. They develop that same desire to do those things so they can be good citizens, you know, they can actually lead in way. I'll even say this, I'm a Christian and I believe in honoring God with what I do. And so I believe that one of my main missions is to work, because God said you're going to have to work. Okay. He wanted us to tend the garden, right? So I want to lead that way. So for me, it's definitely, that's one of my big motivators, but you know, it could be your spouse. Some of you might be thinking about your spouse is working a lot of hours. They're never there with the kids and you would like them to be able to be there more. The only way that that's going to be able to happen for you though, is if you have the financial freedom for that. So maybe that's it. Maybe you got to make that happen. You know, maybe it's, you just really want to accomplish something. You know, there are people who really just feel like they haven't done anything that they're yet, they feel like they've given their all for, or they've put themselves out there. They've kind of stayed hidden because they were afraid. There was some fear, but there's something inside of you going, I want to do something. And that's okay. That's a good motivator. That's part of my motivator. It really is. I always say Plexus helped me to start dreaming again, because I was always a big dreamer, but I started to kind of fade away thinking I would never make it happen. And then the opportunity came and we applied ourselves and made it happen. And now I can actually think bigger and dream bigger. And so I want to accomplish those things in my life, some big things. So, but can you really love people with Plexus? I mean, that's a question some people might have. Can I really love people with Plexus? Absolutely. I believe that you can, 100%. Because what's better than helping other people in their health, their finances, or even, I'm going to say, emotionally? Believe it or not, I'll tell you what I mean by that. But who do you know that's not suffering in some way from one of those areas? No one. No one is. And if they're not personally struggling with their finances and they're not personally struggling with their health, they are close to someone who is, that needs help. And so getting that person help would actually help you or would help them because when there's someone around you who's in pain, it affects your life, right? When there's someone around you who's struggling financially, it affects your life. You can't just watch your brother or your sister or someone that's close to you suffer without caring and without feeling some sort of weight and not wanting that to be changed for them. So when you have a tool that you can give someone that could help them to make that happen, then you are helping other people. You're loving on those people. And so yes, Plexus is a way to love on other people. 100%. And when I say emotion, I say that because some people come into this, literally, they come into this just because they're looking for the camaraderie or the fun of doing something cool and big with other people. In fact, we have someone who joined our team recently. They make plenty of money. I love these kind of people because I'm always like, I mean, I'm just blown away because I never had that life. But they don't have a need as far as financially. But what she said was she just wants to sit on the beaches with Michelle and Sonia. That's what she wants it for. That is awesome. I love that. You know, and there's people out there who are looking for that emotional connection, and that's why they join. And that might be some of you, you know, or you might know some people like that. And so, yes, Plexus can be a way of loving on people emotionally too. Obviously, we also want to support each other. You know, it's cool just doing something like this. I'm not a part of your team, you know, but you guys have supported us. You've been, you know, faithful and loyal to our Rock the Pink broadcast. You've told other people about it, and we love that. We appreciate that so much. That's loving on us. I want to love back on you guys, you know, and that's how we help each other. And that's also an emotional support for one another. So we're going to talk about stage 1. Okay. Fishing, learning to fish. Okay. You have to talk the talk and you have to walk the walk. Verse number 1. This is where you are. You're just, maybe you're on this and you've just joined, or you're just trying to get started again or something like that. Listen, you got to take your Plexus products every day. That's number 1. Okay. You got to drink your water every day. You got to do it. You got to talk the talk and walk the walk. You also have to do other things that are healthy for you. Maybe just getting out and literally walking. That could be part of it. Okay. Get yourself to a place where you know that you're headed in the right direction with your health, because if you aren't doing that, you will have a very difficult time actually going out and fishing. Okay? People, you'll know in the back of your mind somewhere, there's going to be some little thing pricking on there going, yeah, right, you're not doing it. Why are you telling other people to do it? Right? So you're going to have to talk the talk, walk the walk. And then there's another thing I would want everybody who's trying to learn how to fish, okay? Because one of the questions you guys had for me tonight is, you know, how do you prospect? What are the do's and don'ts of prospecting? If that's one of your big questions, then I would definitely recommend that all of you get the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Because it's going to show you how to talk to anybody about anything. Because it's not just about talking to them about Plexus. It's about building a connection. That's where we miss it a lot of times, is we think that we're supposed to talk to everybody we're supposed to talk to them about Plexus, and we miss the connection, and they don't care about Plexus. Okay? So we got to make the connection, and that's how we're going to be able to be effective when we talk about it. Because it's not just about talking about it, right? You got to be effective. So How to Win Friends and Influence People by a guy named Dale Carnegie. It's an old book, but it's golden, and it keeps on getting talked about because it's that good. So that would be in stage 1, the first few things, okay? So the thing about reaching out is this. When you're going to reach out to people, you have to recognize there's a difference between methods and principles, okay? Don't get the two confused. Meaning, don't ever fall in love with a method. Okay, it might be good for a while. You might love it for a little while, but don't be so in love with it that you can't ever imagine your life in Plexus or ever doing Plexus without that method being there for you, or else you're quitting. If you are there, you're going to have a problem, because the only thing that's constant is change. Okay? The only thing that's constant is change. Now, I agree with that, except for in the case of principles, because I think principles are principles. Principles they always stay the same. But everything else can change. I mean, imagine the nightmare scenario right now for you. I mean, what if all of a sudden Facebook was gone? Right? Imagine that nightmare scenario that Facebook is gone. Is your Plexus business going to have to fail now? Okay. I mean, I think it would be tough. I might shed a tear, but you know what I would do? I would go, okay, let's get some heads together and figure out how we're going to do this now. What are we going to do? Well, first of all, we know I can still talk to people in person. There's other forms of communication out there. Heck, I mean, there's a lot of still other social media sites. So let's start trying those. Okay. I mean, there's a lot of ways that we could do this. So don't fall in love with any particular method ever. Okay. Love it while it's working. And then if it's not, change it up. That's okay. It's really okay. Okay. So a principle, here's an example of a principle. I need to always be reaching out to new people. Pretty simple, right? I've always got to be reaching out to people. A method would be posting on Facebook. There are even different methods for posting on Facebook. So even though you might have had one method at one time, doesn't mean that method is still going to work forever. So even though you might continue posting on Facebook, your method for posting on Facebook might need to change. That's okay. Facebook is not the be-all, end-all of our business at all. People were doing network marketing a long time before Facebook ever came around and being very successful. And now we have a better company with better products than what they had in the past. So, I mean, we should be able to be even more successful than other people were in the past. So methods can change. Now, talking about methods, all right, I'm going to give you some more. I'm going to give you some principles to use in your methods, okay? You might create your method exactly how you want it, but I'm going to give you some principles and even give you an example, okay? So let me just say this about methods, or talking and gaining new prospects. First of all, kind of already said this, but there are multiple ways. I suggest using them all. Okay, get good at the ones that you can, because maybe you've never been really good at posting on Facebook, and you never really have gotten a lot out of posting on Facebook. But what if you were great at Instagram? What if you were great at LinkedIn? What if you were great at talking to people in person or messaging them, contacting them through your cell phone, doing a text message or things like that? There's a lot of methods. So use them all. Learn how to get good at them as much as you can. So reaching out on Facebook is different than reaching out through a text. Okay, we're going to talk about method here a little bit. You have to recognize that it's not one size fits all for when you're reaching out to people. It really isn't, because if I'm going to reach out to somebody through a Facebook message, I'm probably not as close of friends as I am with somebody who have their cell phone number. So there's going to be a different way I'm going to talk to that person than I would a person through a text message. Okay? Most likely, because like I said, I probably have a different relationship. Both of them would be different than how I would reach out to somebody on LinkedIn. And all of them would be different than how I would talk to somebody if I was standing right in front of them. Okay? So it's never one size fits all. Think about not just what, I need to send a message. Think about the medium that you're using and the person that you're talking to. Okay? So, first thing, Facebook should be personal and straightforward. Okay? When you message people through Facebook, it should be personal and straightforward. You already have some sort of relationship with them, so you have to keep it personal. Don't sound like a salesperson. All right? You want to keep it simple and to the point. This shows that you're not going to pull the rug out from under them, and also respects their time, and it will also keep you from throwing up on them through the phone. Okay? So really keep it simple and straightforward, simple and short. And you always want to try to get a phone call right away. I really do not recommend trying to sell somebody on Facebook by typing out a message to them, or to sell somebody on Plexus by typing out a message, because it's a lot easier to reject your message than it is to reject your voice. Okay? And if you can, it's even better to get an opportunity to meet them in person, although I know that that's not necessarily always feasible. But, you know, I at least want to have a voice-to-voice conversation with somebody, maybe a Zoom conversation with somebody. So remember that as you are reaching out to people, that your main goal is to have a conversation at least on the phone with them. Okay? So when you're gonna send this message out, you want to keep it simple, straightforward, to the point, and show that you're respecting their time, and you want to keep it personal. So here's an example of what mine might sound like. And again, you can craft it to be a little bit more your style, but here's something that I might send. Okay, hey Mark, how's it going, man? I'm so glad that we have this cool thing called Facebook to be able to follow each other and keep up on each other's lives. It looked like your vacation last summer was awesome. Or you could say something about their kids or whatever you've noticed, right? Hey, I have something I really want to talk to you about. Would you possibly have any time tomorrow? I might even give them a time. Would you possibly have any time tomorrow between 5 and 8 o'clock? Okay, I'm going straight for a phone call. Now, he may or may not respond. I mean, that's the reality. And I'll kind of mention something about that in a minute. That's the reality. Don't get your feelings hurt, okay? He may or may not respond. But the reality is, too, if he does respond, it's more likely that I'm going to get that phone call than it would be if I waited until maybe the third message to ask him for the phone call, because he'll have asked me a whole bunch of questions before that. And he maybe already made up his mind that he was going to try to cut me off before I asked him for a phone call by telling him I'm not interested right now, or send me some info and I'll check it out and then we'll follow up, right? That's what people do if you don't ask. So start off right there. You want a phone call and ask for a time, okay? That's called a method. That kind of stuff can change, but that's how I might do it through Facebook, because it's a person that I have a personal contact with, a little bit of a relationship with, and I've been able to follow their life. Let me just say something, too, about when you reach out to people and how you a lot of times people get their feelings hurt because somebody didn't respond back to them. It is a given. It is really a given that there are going to be a lot of people who won't respond back to you. And don't look and go, but I had a relationship with this person and I thought that they liked me and we were all blah, 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 you know, and we went out last weekend and all that stuff. It's just, it is what it is. I'm going to throw a number out there and because I think it's probably accurate. I don't have a statistic to be able to say this, but I think this is accurate. Probably 50% of the people that you're ever going to talk to about Plexus, you have zero chance of changing their mind and getting them to even pay attention to you. Literally, zero chance. Now, we can't read anybody's mind, so we don't know who those people are. So it actually, the person that you think that could be might not a lot of times be that person, okay? But then there's another person that you think, oh, they're definitely going to want to hear what I have to say. That we're great friends, and they're not going to have anything to do with it, okay? So you cannot judge that. You cannot prejudge that. But what you can do is have the right attitude and mentality to allow you to keep forging forward with passion, because you need to forge forward, not just move forward, but you need to move forward with passion. People need to catch that in you. If they sense that you sound like a defeated person, then it will harm your ability to reach out, your ability to persuade them. It will actually harm that. So you need to move forward with passion, which means that you've got to get some tough skin, and you've got to be realistic and know that there are people who will reject you that you think should automatically join you. All right. I've labored that a little bit, but that's a real thing that I think most everybody deals with, the fear of rejection. It's a big one. And you just got to just accept it. It is what it is. Okay. One other thing about reaching out to people is you also got to follow up. One time, you can't expect to, I mean, I don't know how many of you have ever done any fishing, but it's pretty darn lucky when you cast out your first cast and you pull in a fish the first time. That's really, really, really lucky, right? Usually you're out there for a long time before you catch anything. And so you got to keep throwing the line out. And sometimes you're throwing it in the same spot and you can even see the fish is right there and he's not going for it. You still got to keep on going for him, right? And so make sure that you don't just give up after the first try. I mean, it takes people literally 7, 10, 12 times of hearing about it before they're actually ready to say yes. So just because they rejected you once doesn't mean that they're going to continue to reject you. Again, you're not necessarily going to be able to change everybody. Well, you won't be able to change everybody's mind, but you don't know who those people are, so keep doing it. We've had people come around literally after 3 years. Like, yeah, I've been following you about this Plexus thing. Oh, really? Like 3 years? Yeah, okay. And now they're finally joining. All right, so follow up. Okay. Another thing you guys were wanting to talk about was the fact that I hear a lot of you are working jobs and, you know, you're trying to work this in the nooks and crannies of your day. And I totally understand that. Look, this is something that literally everybody can do. This is something that you have to make time for. I mean, you cannot expect to do this 5 minutes a day and grow a huge team. But at the same time, I'm not telling you got to put in an 8-hour day to have a great return. You do need to put in probably 20 to 30 minutes minimum of messaging and reaching out to people, okay, to get your business up and going, right? And you got to do it consistently every day. And then you're probably good. That's a focus time. And then you're probably going to have some times throughout the day where, well, you message people for a half hour, but those people didn't message you back right away every time. So there's somebody going to respond back to you. You got to be able to message them back later on in the day. So you're going to have to make time during the later parts of the day for that kind of stuff. I think that that's a very realistic minimum goal for most people, okay? Now, the other thing I would say is this, and I always want to encourage people with this because I do understand the fact that people feel busy a lot of times. But I've also had a lot of those same people that say that they're too busy send me invites for playing Candy Crush. Okay? Or post about the show that they just finished, the series that they just binge watched on Netflix, right? And I just think, you know, a lot of times we don't recognize, I'm not going to say that people are just lying, but sometimes people don't recognize how much time they actually do have, and they're not making a priority for their business in Plexus. So if that's the case, if that's where you are, you need to evaluate your time first, because everybody has the same 24 hours in a day. And there are other people who've had extremely busy lives. And I don't want to judge anybody on here right now and say your life isn't as busy as this person's, but I will say that there have been people that I know had extremely busy lives and still made their Plexus business boom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that said, it is about what you prioritize. And the last thing I would like to say, and this one I want to say to, I saw that I think there's a couple guys on here. I think guys sometimes struggle because they're working a full-time job. And there's going to be women on here with this too, but I like to say this to the guys directly because I think that this kind of sparks something or guys can get what I'm saying. Like, you can either continue doing what you've been doing and maybe go out and get a second job to be able to make ends meet, or hope for a raise, work your butt off, work more hours, whatever you have to do in another job to build somebody else's dream. Or you could do the same thing with that same amount of time and put it into your Plexus business. If you're working 50 hours a week in your current job, add an additional 10 or 20 hours a week and work your Plexus business. Okay? I say that because I was working ridiculous hours, 2 jobs, when I was living in Nashville, and I was never seeing my family, and I was making pennies compared to anything close to what I'm doing right now. But I mean, literally, it was hardly anything. I mean, imagine delivering pizzas, right, as a second job. So I would much rather be putting in those extra hours for me and building my thing than I would be for somebody else. Okay? All right. So I think that's all I'm going to say about that for now. And if you guys want to ask me questions later, that's fine. All right. Wow. Time is flying. All right, guys, we're on to stage 2. These will be a little bit faster, but I want to make sure we get you some good stuff here. So there was some nitty gritty stuff in there, but if you have questions about that stuff and that you want to ask at the end, I'll try to leave a little time for that. Okay, stage 2, teaching others to fish. It's the care and attention you give to your new ambassador. It's the love you give your new ambassador. So they must learn to do everything you did in step 1. That's the first thing. You got to teach them that stuff that we told you need to do. And step 1, they need to start doing all that. Okay? You have to follow up with them and check on their progress with the products and the business, because new ambassadors are also like new customers. You need to treat them that way. Don't just think of them as just being in the business. They also need to be treated like a customer in the beginning, because they're just now getting to learn to love their Plexus products. So you're going to need to walk them through some of the new stuff that they're experiencing. Let them ask questions. Ask them, what do you love so far about your Plexus products? I love asking people that question. Or what are some changes that you're noticing? Or just what are you noticing so far? Sometimes people aren't prompted unless you ask, what are you noticing? Because they have to think about, what did I notice? If you say, how's it going? It's so wide open. They might say, it's fine. But if you say, what are you noticing? Now they have to think about it automatically and think, what am I noticing? Right? So ask them that question, and typically you'll get back a good response that you can build off of and say, good, I'm glad to hear that. Okay, are you drinking all your water? Are you making sure you're taking your products every single day? Make sure you're following up with all that stuff. But you got to give them that care and attention, follow up, and remember that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So you got to keep on caring for them in that, especially in that beginning process, because they need to know that you're there for them. All right, make yourself available for them with their recruiting efforts. Sometimes you have to help them reel the fish in. If you've ever, gone out with your kids, I'm sounding like I'm this avid fisherman, and I'm not, but I've fished before and I understand it. And it's a great analogy, and I've taken my kids out. And sometimes when you got your kids out there learning to fish, you have to help them learn some of the very basic things like casting it out, reeling it in. There's different ways to do it depending on how you're fishing. So you might have to help them with that part. So what does that mean? That means getting on three-way calls and doing in-person meetings with them and their prospects. So make yourself available for them for that purpose. Help them get involved then too with your big team and encourage them to come to events. Even go pick them up if you have to. Okay? We're just talking about loving on your new ambassadors that are getting going in the business. Okay? It's simple stuff, nothing complicated about it, but it does require you to give them some attention, right? Okay. All right, stage three. Stage three. Now we have gone out, we have learned how to fish. We've taught somebody else how to fish, but how many of you have figured out you know how to recruit, right? There's some people on here that know how to recruit. They've even recruited somebody who knew how to recruit. And so you've got three levels. All right? You've got two levels. You've got your new recruit, and then they're recruiting people. But all of a sudden, there's this thing where there's no more recruiting going on down below there, or they're struggling to duplicate, right? All right, so you've got to teach them to teach the same things that you already taught. First of all, they have to begin doing the same exact things. That's called duplication. But then there's this other thing, a new tool, right? You're not just going to be using fishing poles now. You got to get out the nets. You got to get out the nets. All right? So this is where you want to go. This is where you want to get to. And when you do this, when you get out that fishing boat and you start casting out nets, you're teaching them to become the captain of their boat, and at the same time, you're becoming the captain of your boat. Now, I will say something about this when you start getting out here and becoming the captain of a boat and start fishing and throwing out nets. It's scary. It's scary, a lot scarier. Okay? You used to be up on the shore, and you're just throwing out this thing and you're reeling it in. That was pretty simple. Nothing too scary about that. You're just talking to one or two people, at a time. And you're helping them talk to one or two people at a time. But now you're going for the big haul, okay? You're going to be out there on the waves. They're going to come crashing over sometimes. You're going to feel some panic sometimes, and you've got to fight through that, okay? So what does this look like? It's going to feel risky, okay? But what this looks like is you need to, number one, start doing opportunity meetings. Mm-hmm. Okay? Somebody told us way back when we first started, and I'm so proud of Michelle because, man, she was a nervous wreck. She did not want to stand up in front of people and talk. But she was told if she wanted to get out there and make it happen, I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to get to that next level, you've got to be the person with the marker, because the person with the marker makes the money. Okay? So you've got to be willing to get up in front of people and do your meetings. Start opportunity meetings. You can do them in a house. You can do them in a Panera Bread. You can do them at any coffee shop. You can do them at a restaurant. We've done meetings everywhere. The basement of a church, the basement of a bank, library, anywhere where you can find to do a meeting. Don't pay more than, the most that we ever put into doing meetings like that was like, we go to Panera, and they let us use our meeting room, but you had to spend $50 on food between the group, which was fine. Most people would order a little something. If they didn't, we put our money in, guys. This wasn't when we were like hauling it in. We were doing okay, but we just would, we put the money up for it because we knew it would be worth it. And that's the thing. You got to be willing to invest. This is a business. Sometimes you got to invest in it. We're very fortunate in Plexus, y'all. We don't have anything like what other companies have. I'm telling you what, right now, I'll just tell you this. Most other companies, if you were to have a guy like me, a Jewel, come on and do a meeting like this, you would be paying me. I'm just saying. And it's not because I'm trying to be like, I'm not trying to be like snooty or something like that, or say I'm better. I'm just telling you what other companies do. We don't have to invest money near. I've talked to guys who literally had to sell tickets to their downline to events, and that's how they made money. That was one of the ways that the uplines brought in their money, was by selling tickets to all the people. Okay, crazy, and I can tell you all kinds of stuff. Selling CDs, you know, the amount of travel that some of these other companies now. We do travel, and I'm going to recommend that to you. But bottom line is, we don't do anything like what some of these other companies do. So, do meetings. Start leading. Oh, okay, you said that. All right, lead a 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership class, John Maxwell. So, y'all ever heard of that book, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership? Lead one of those classes. Actually get your top 5 people on your team and get them in on one of these calls and start doing one every week. You know, do 2 chapters a week and finish it out with them. You'll be amazed at where you'll go and where they'll go through that process. Start a challenge group for people who are trying to go for gold. We've done challenge groups where it's literally you get assignments, and every week you have to complete these assignments, and then you have to tell the group, okay, this I completed, done. All this stuff has to be done. So people who really are trying to go for that gold level, it's a great one to start a challenge group for, because gold is the hardest level to achieve in some ways, because you're doing a lot of it on your own, and so you need a lot of backing for that. Okay? So helping people go through that process is huge. So start a Going for Gold Facebook group and get people involved in that. Do Zoom opportunity meetings. That's a really cool one, because you can bring a whole lot of people from everywhere all together at once, and you don't even have to leave your own living room. All right, I'm going to say one that a lot of people aren't going to tell you. Travel to your top people. Michelle was a silver ambassador the first time that she ever did a tour. We were living in Florida, and she flew from Florida to Ohio to do a tour with Sonia Dudley and Helen McFadden for her little growing team to try to make it explode. Okay? So if you've got people that are doing really well, but they're not near you, don't make that an excuse. When you put that kind of effort and time in, and I'm not saying do this for every single person, I'm saying you've got people who are growing and showing some effort, and they actually have a team growing, you go there and you show them that you care, and you'll be amazed at the return that you get for that. Investing that is worthwhile. It's a big deal, and people do value that. All right, the last thing I'm going to say about that is doing Facebook events. So put out a Facebook event to people, and just do like you can actually now do a live inside of an event. So you can invite people to learn about Plexus in this event, and then you can go live inside the event and do an opportunity meeting in the event. It's the coolest thing. So those are ways to cast out nets, to get more people on your team involved all at once, to start actually being the captain of the ship and teaching other people to be captain of the ship. Wow, guys, I went a lot longer than what I thought as far as all this stuff. So I have a couple minutes. There was something else I wanted to give you, but I'm not gonna have time. So I'm gonna let you all ask some questions now. So anybody would like to ask questions?
Now. We've got a noisy household. You might want to.
Okay, everybody unmuted at once. So we probably, if you're going to ask a question, yeah, go ahead and unmute. If not, then probably stay muted. Or maybe you unmuted. I'm sorry, Tanya.
I did. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I just want to make sure everybody gets a chance to talk if they want to. Anybody have a question?
Oh, come on. I know you do.
It's all right.
I'll ask a question.
Okay.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, Melanie.
So you're talking about that John Maxwell. Oh, sorry, I can't really hear. You're talking about John
Young
Maxwell.
to mute themselves. Thank you.
Yeah. We good?
We're good.
Okay. So you were talking about that John Maxwell 12 irrefutable laws.
Mhm.
So what do you do? Like a book study on it?
Yeah. Yeah. The book has questions at the end
Okay.
of each chapter, and it actually has like little homework things that you can do in there.
Okay.
So what you do is we did 2 chapters a week,
Yeah.
and then we just would have a book discussion every week at the same time,
Yeah.
and go over those questions. You don't have to be, depending on your personal, depending on your personality, you can go literally through every question, or you can use it as a guide for topics of discussion and kind of let people. I was kind of in the middle.
Okay.
I used the questions, I would answer the questions, but then if the conversation was going somewhere, I would want to go with that, address it, because sometimes you discover more that way.
Right. Yeah.
Late 70s. Late
Um,
70s.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what Ryan just said.
All
I have
right.
one more little thing for you too.
Okay.
Is there any other books that you really, really love that you've read, like that you could let us know about?
Yeah. I love The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson.
Okay.
I love that book because we live in a microwave society and everybody expects to get everything they want right now, and you can't always get what you want. But you know what? If you keep on trying and you do things in a way of consistency every day, you will develop a slight edge and be going in the right direction. The problem is that most people don't see that they're going in the wrong direction because it's so slight the other way. So the same way that you don't see the slight improvements every day in your life until you turn back and you look back a year back or 2 years or 3 years back and you go, oh my gosh, I can't be, I that's why I like looking at my, before and after pictures sometimes, because even now I look different than I did even a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like to have a way of gauging things, and most of the time you don't notice the slight improvements, but you also don't notice the things that are going the other direction. And so that's why we have to focus to improve. We have to do things to improve. It's easy to do the things that you have to do to improve,
Right.
but it's just as easy not to do them.
Right. Easy to be lazy.
Yeah, it's easy. And it's not like what we have to do, guys, is very hard. It really isn't. I mean, sending a message, talking to somebody, sharing Plexus is not hard to do. Loving someone is not hard to do. It's hard to do it consistently, and make yourself do it when you don't feel like it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my phone.
It's not brain surgery, though. That's what I'm saying. It's not like it's brain surgery.
Yeah.
All right. Does that answer your question? That's a great book.
Yes, that does. Thank you.
Where that book-
I have another question.
Okay.
I'm full of questions. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, my phone's ringing in the background. How do you, I find that myself, I struggle a little bit with, talking to people that I don't know when I'm out and about and bringing up Plexus. That is my hugest struggle that I have. How do you do that, and how do you do that?
One of the things that I think that causes us to feel that way is that we think in our minds, oh my gosh, I've got this opportunity with this person and I may never see them again. I better get them to join Plexus. I got to make it happen. And so you your focus is only on literally talking about plexus and getting them to understand how great plexus is. If you think about any other conversation that you have, normal conversation that you have, it's kind of a free flow thing. You know what I mean? You're not preaching at them. You're not trying to convert them. And so you're having a real relational conversation. You need to have the same kind of relational conversation with somebody when you're talking about plexus. You need to be thinking in terms of, how do I love on this person? Maybe they're not ready to hear the entire message of plexus yet, but I can bring up the fact that, I love this stuff. It's so awesome. Let's be friends on Facebook, you know, or whatever. You can craft you can have your conversation in such a way that it doesn't have to be about getting them to join right now. That's the biggest thing. Just when you meet somebody brand new, it's very unlikely that you're going to get them to join plexus right now. Okay? But if you can get into a conversation about life, then you can have a more realistic and more genuine conversation. Does that make sense? And that's why I recommend that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, because what I'm saying, I think it's hard for people to separate. Like, people think, well, I'm trying to grow my plexus business, so I need to make sure I talk to this many people about plexus every day. And they have a hard time separating that from their normal everyday conversations. And I think that you need to learn how to integrate them in such a way that it becomes more natural. And that's really where you just have to kind of relax. And that book is awesome for understanding that. That's where I would definitely recommend. If you feel like you struggle there, that's the book to read.
Okay. Awesome. I actually downloaded that book but haven't read it yet. So
Okay.
good. That will be my next read.
Good.
Yeah. Sweet. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Any other questions, guys, tonight? Well, listen, Tim, I want to thank you so much for sharing your passion. It's so obvious that you love what you do. And I'm going to know that you've inspired me tonight. I'm sure you've inspired everybody on this call who's been fortunate enough to be here. And certainly, you know, you've given us lots of food for thought, lots of fish for thought. And it's been just absolutely awesome. So, you know, on behalf of everybody here, just like to say thank you. I think you have another training to get to, or a meeting, or
yeah. We have a book thing here at 9:00, but I guess it's 10 for you guys. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I do, and it's been awesome being on with you guys.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Enjoy.
All right, everybody have a great night.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.